We're in Switzerland, in the small village of Villeret in the Swiss Jura mountains. When you hear the name Villeret, you might already have an idea about the brand that we're visiting. This brand has earned a unique reputation among professionals and watch aficionados, and its name is Minerva. Minerva was founded here in the small village of Villeret over 165 years ago and can look back on a long legacy. Collectors value Minerva, not just for its history, but also for the incredibly beautifully shaped chronograph calibers and for the remarkable level of hand finishing. Since 2007, Minerva is part of Montblanc, and we are meeting with Laurent Lecamp, Global Managing Director at Montblanc and Minerva, to talk precision chronographs, hand-finished mechanical movements, and artisanal watchmaking. Oh, and we'll discover two of the latest Minerva novelties, a superb split-second chronograph and the new Unveiled Minerva Monopusher Chronograph. Laurent, thanks for having us here in this fascinating Minerva manufacture. We're here where everything started for the brand. Can you tell us what defines the Minerva tradition?
It's really something magical. Just give you an example. Just in front of the manufacture, where we are now, you have a small house close to the temple. And this is in this house that everything started in 1858. The founder of the company decided at the beginning to create watches, but he had no manufacturer. So he was an établisseur. Établisseur at that time, it means that you have to go to different suppliers for hands, for dials, for the case, and you will take care of everything, you will assemble everything before selling the watches. The business was extremely good during the first years. He had a family. And the second house just in front is the house where the children were. They were living in this house. And then they started building this manufacture. This family business was extremely successful. And in 1902, Minerva developed the first in-house caliber. Today, 123 years later, we are very proud because this is tradition. We can repair each of our movements developed since 1902. Since the day one, we are manufacturing our own manufacture movements. We can repair all of them. In the 20s, we developed chronograph and wristwatches, and something appeared in 1927. Minerva developed pocket watch, but could be wristwatch as well, for the pilots. It was quite big. It was a very, very good invention because when you move the bezel on the right, on the left, you could make a function with the watch. For the pilots, it was extremely useful because they had no reliable instruments while flying. Minerva applied for the patent in December 1927. For this
the fluted bezel with the little triangle.
The fluted bezel, absolutely. And this fluted bezel is in all our new products now. Because when I joined the company on 1st of January 2021, I spent the first months reading. I just wanted to understand where Minerva was coming from and what can be used from the past to create the future. And this fluted bezel I discovered in a book, in a very old book about Minerva. And then the very next day, I remember I told to my team, guys, now we have the signature of Minerva. And we will put this fluted bezel from 1927 with a strong meaning for Minerva. We'll put it on top of the timepiece. It's a fluted bezel. And every time you see a Minerva piece now, you will see this beautiful bezel. Sometimes with no function, sometimes with a function. The one I have here on my wrist, for example, very interesting. It's the first chronograph we have developed with no pushers. You have to move the bezel. You move it on the right for the start, stop, and reset function. Then let's go together, also back to the 20s and 30s. We developed these watches for the pilots. Minerva became extremely strong in terms of recognition, extremely famous for the chronograph. We even were the official timekeeper for the Olympic Games in Germany. Then we were timekeeper for Formula One, for horse races, for many things. Minerva is extremely strong as a timekeeper. And in the 40s, 50s, we developed the caliber 48. The caliber 48 has been developed by André Frey, who was the manager, the CEO at the time. And he wanted to develop something based on the golden ratio, on the beautiful number that is the number of perfection in the nature.
The Pythagorean movement.
The Pythagorean movement, absolutely. And this Pythagorean movement was developed in the 40s and 50s. And now today, we are using this movement again for developing new watches. And everything as explained here has been developed in-house. I will tell you something. Even the hairspring is developed in-house for all our calibers, even the hairspring.
And that is pretty rare and a very good thing. But that also leads me to next question, because still today the manufacture is an eye-opening experience, and the workshop used time-honored techniques and showcase remarkable expertise in artisanal integrity. Can you tell us about the approach of manufacturing at Minerva?
So first of all, it's a long-term vision. Just give you an example. We had someone working within this company, Minerva, more than 58 years. His father.
He didn't want to go to retire?
This is when he decided to leave the company. His father was working within Minerva as well. So it's a connection between tradition, your previous question, and the new one about manufacturing. Yeah. So there is a transmission. And in terms of manufacturing, you can observe that very simple example. On the right side of the movements, we have one lady working, by the way, for the company for more than 23 or 24 years now. And she's in charge of the decoration of the ratchet of the movement. And every morning, she works on it. During the afternoon, it's a secret, she's working on a farm. Like watchmakers did 200 or 300 years ago, by the way. This is Minerva spirit. And she's creating this beautiful decoration named diamantage coquille, snail finishing. It's something we do for each of our calibers. It's not an exception, just for a few ones. But again, for all of them, we have developed our own hairspring. The name is Minerva. And we have 2 different hairsprings, depending on the calibers we are working with. In 1912, we decided to protect the design of the 2 mountains just in front of the manufacturer. Because it's a V-shape design. You have the 2 mountains. It's the shape of a V like Villeret. Some of our customers, clients, fans, I should say, because we don't have customers who have fans, they always say it's not V for Villeret, it's V for victory. So we like it. And if you observe all the chronograph movement we have developed, the V shape of the bridge is inspired by the V shape of the mountains in front of the manufacturer. Because since 1858, we are assembling our calibers, but every day, we see the 2 mountains in front of us with this V shape. And what you find as a V shape on the bridge, it is inspired by the nature. That's why we protected the design in 1912. That's manufacturing as well. Apropos nature, every year in October, our watchmakers, and sometimes we do it all together, we just go to this mountain on the other side, and we select some flowers, gentiane, we say here, and we'll use the wood of the gentiane for the decorating and for the polishing of the inner angles of our movements. Some brands, they stop the inner angles because it's impossible to polish or to decorate them. It takes too much time. It's difficult. Yeah. We have one of our calibers with 420 inner angles. Wow. And everything, even for the inner angles, it's made by hand using the wood from this flower, just growing on the other side of the manufacture, as it was the case 100, 150 years ago. That's what we are made of. That's why Minerva is absolutely unique. And last but not least, our movements are assembled 2 times. We assemble once, we disassemble, and we reassemble. And it's made by only 1 watchmaker. Meaning that when you have a Minerva piece on your wrists, we can tell you precisely which watchmaker is the one behind.
That's the good old-fashioned artisanal approach. One watch, one watchmaker.
Absolutely, and that's how luxury has to be.
Now, thinking about Minerva, precision chronographs immediately come to mind. And this year you're presenting two superb releases in this respect. The first one is a traditional rendition with the Minerva Split-Second Chronograph, and the second is more modern with a new version of the Unveiled Monopusher Chronograph. Please do tell us more about these two watches.
The most beautiful part of Minerva was always hidden on the case back. So now it's time to turn around and reveal to the world what Minerva is made of. And for the first time in the history of watchmaking, 3 years ago, a chronograph monopusher has been turned around. And what you see on the dial was on the other side. But the most complicated point in this timepiece is the following. When you turn the watch around, something is not working properly. All the hands are working anti-clockwise. All of them. For the counters, for the small second, for everything. For the hands, everything. So it was a big issue. And this movement, which is more than 100 years old, was never built to be reversed, to be turned around.
Mm-hmm.
And watchmakers at that time never thought about the possibility to add a module, a complication or a change, to put a change on top of it.
Mm-hmm.
That's why our engineers by Minerva, they had to think about how to develop a train gear, yes, with a very small quantities of components, not to have too many components, and not to increase the height of the caliber, so that all the hands can turn clockwise. And they managed it. Only 21 components coming on the top, reaching at the end 291 components. And we managed it. And it was patented. And here you can see exactly what we explained previously, meaning the Maischer, the German silver. So Maischer in French. Then you can see a Minerva arrow at the end of the chronograph blocker. You can observe the hairspring. So you see all the characteristics, all the key elements, the key ingredients of a Minerva caliber.
Well, the good thing is you don't have to turn your watch around to really enjoy that gorgeous movement.
Now you can turn the watch around and something will happen again. But for sure, we'll not see the movement because the movement is on the dial side now.
Exactly.
So what is happening on the other side? On the other side, you have an engraving of our manufacture in 1927, specifically. Why? Because 1927 is the year we have developed the first flatted bezel for the pilots. And the manufacture is connected like chapter 1, chapter 2. You explain in the chapter the story, and the next chapter will show you the results. That's exactly what you have here. The Minerva timepiece is a book with a lot of chapters and telling you a huge story. This piece can be observed from both sides. And when you have it in the hand, this is a part of the tradition of Minerva that you have. Again, one watchmaker assembling this caliber. Then you have this beautiful flatted bezel in gold, always in gold. All flatted bezels we are developing on our Minerva timepieces are in gold, because gold reminds you of the rich tradition of Minerva. That's the point, even if the case itself is in steel. So this is for the Unveiled Secrets, which is a limited edition. And you can observe that you have 5 sapphire openings inside the case so that you can see through the movements. So it has been worked so that you can observe everything. And when you are under the sunlight, you see everything shining, and you will even discover some components that you cannot see at the first sight. And now we have the split second. The split second, very interesting. In the 30s, Minerva developed a split second with a very strong burgundy dial and with the tachymeter scale. It was a 1,000 basis running around the dial. This color was very unique, and in my team, I was asking someone to follow the auctions for Minerva, and he came back to me and said, Laurent, there is one piece extremely looked after in the auctions from the 30s with this specific color. And thanks to him, I said, okay, so we should think about the possibility to recreate this piece with this color. And this color is the burgundy one with a sunray decoration. And we decided to relaunch the split second. The split second is a very elaborate complication. You have 2 column wheels, as you know, so which is extremely elaborate. You have 287 components. The split second is the summum of the chronograph, it's my point of view. And we managed to recreate the same color as the one developed in the 30s. Limited edition as well, 100 pieces, 44 millimeter. This complication as well, the split second, has been 100% developed in-house by our team and has been assembled 2 times by one watchmaker. Each timepiece at the soul. I insist on that point. Each of them is living. We know who was behind. We know the story behind. We know that all our movements that we are using now are most of them more than 100 years old. We are working with decorations not being used anymore in this industry. We are doing this by hand. You can see by Minerva, you find no machines at all. And this is for me what perfection is made of. We are using only one tool, the best tool ever. The first one in humanity, the hand. And that's exactly why I strongly believe in the power of Minerva and in the soul of Minerva in each timepiece we are developing with a team together here in Villeret.
Laurent, thank you so much for this interview and explaining more about Minerva.
Thank you, it was a real pleasure.